Have a quick discussion on the auto sector as well lined up. The domestic demand environment for the auto sector in this quarter is expected to be stable post the festive season. Also, there are a slew of new vehicle safety and emission norms that are expected to be kicking in the coming months. To discuss how the demand environment for auto component manufacturers is shaping up, Vinny Mehta, Director General at ACMA, joins us now. Of course, Dipan is also sitting by. So, Dipan, I'll be tossing some questions to you as well on the sector. But, Vinny, I want to start off with you. You know, the pent-up demand was there, but it's now normalizing a bit in the passenger vehicle space. And now you also have higher regulatory costs that come in from April of 2023. Do you see demand cool off a little bit for the sector? I'm quoting from a Nomura report that expects the passenger vehicle industry to slow down to just 6% in FY24 from 23% in FY23. Do you think it could get as bad as that?
Sonia, very good morning to you from a very crispy cold Delhi. I'm not too sure about it. We'll see how it happens because, you know, the Indian market can always surprise us. As of now, some of the companies are looking at a very good 23 and also 24. So we will see how it shapes up. But I don't think so there are, as of now, signs of slowing down domestically. But yes, you know, for exports, there could be a little bit of a challenge with Europe and US getting into some recessionary trends. So at this juncture, honestly, it's like a wait and watch. It's too early to say, you know, how things would be for the whole of the year next year. Yeah.
Okay, so it's too early to call the year. Since you, you know, you are at the helm of ACMA and you, of course, speak to a lot of these component manufacturers, I wanted to understand a little bit about the potential in the electric vehicle space, because a lot of companies, right, whether it's Sona Comstar, Uno Minda, are putting in capacities to cater big time to the electric vehicle sort of universe. Can you tell us a little bit about which are the companies that are making big headway there, and what do you see as the potential?
Yeah, so I think what's very, very interesting is that electric mobility has caught on to the imagination of the government and the people more so, if I may say so. And of course, there's a huge traction when it comes to the two-wheeler industry and the three-wheeler industry, to be very, very specific. So we're typically seeing consumption or demand from the two-wheeler, something like 75,000 units a month. And a lot of the OEMs are now getting into, are already including the conventional ones, are focusing on electric mobility. So we did a study sometime in September last year, and what comes out is that by 2030, you would have 70 to 80% of the two-wheeler industry being electric. You would have something like almost 100% of the three-wheeler industry. And of course, a lot of this is driven by the FAME 2 scheme of the government, and hopefully the PLI scheme will also aid to it. But on the passenger vehicle side, the movement is somewhat slow. You know, not too many players as aggressively into the space, and the subsidy isn't also as attractive enough as of now. So we see something like 15% of the car industry converting to electric by 2030, and the commercial vehicle space would be much slower because, you know, we really need an economically viable solution what doesn't exist globally. Although on the buses front, there's a huge traction with the government driving a lot of consumption on the buses front. And when it comes to the component industry, I would say that, look, you know, we all know it's written on the wall that sooner or later things would convert. So a lot of the people into the two-wheeler supply chain are, and also otherwise, I would say very generically speaking, tier ones are all probably ready to be part of the electric mobility value chain, if I may say so. Yeah.
Sure. So we have our guest Dipan Mehta of Elixir Equities who's sitting by, and I think he has a question for you, Vinny. Dipan, over to you.
Yeah, Vinny, good morning. I just want to ask you this question that, you know, I've been a car enthusiast, and I look at the kind of new models which have come through from the three large companies, Maruti, M&M, as well as Tata Motors. Do you think that these new models, which are all very exciting and which have got very high aspirational value, are they not the key driver for growth for the passenger vehicle industry? I think I've never seen so many new models coming through from a single company, and they're all lovely models, premium models with so many, you know, bells and whistles in them. So what do you think the impact of new models is there as far as OEM sales are concerned?
So I would say, you know, Dipan, this is the coming of age of the Indian or the Indian auto manufacturers. And it's so exhilarating to see all these people come up with such a, such a huge number of models and at such a rapid pace. And yes, this is going to be driving our industry. And globally, you see what builds the entire ecosystem is the domestic companies. See, what drives Germany is Volkswagen. What drives US are the Fords of the world and the GMs of the world. So we need these magnets who will, drive the Indian ecosystem, and you feel so proud about it. Yeah, I mean, it's just really nice. It's happening now.
Okay, well, the waiting periods are way too long, right? That seems to be the only problem, the only cog in the wheel.
Why they
so
say in
to
Hindi,
speak.
sabar ka phal meetha hota hai.
Well, how long? There are people who've been waiting for over a year. But in any case, I mean, that's a production issue.
So
You
some
can't
of
really...
those issues are beyond us,
Yes.
because the semiconductor problem is not yet over. It still continues. Will continue to 23. Supply chain issues still continues. There are strong headwinds. I'm not denying that. And yet we continue to do very, very well. So I'm extremely proud of our industry.
All right, Vinny, it was a pleasure having you on the show. Thanks a lot for joining in, and all the best for 2023. Dipan, request you to stay on for a tad bit. We'll do one thing. We'll take a quick break. Before we do that, let's tell you what's lined up in the next half hour of the show. We'll have Anuj come in for a quick trade setup in just a bit. Post that, we will have the top stock picks from our technical and F&O experts. At 9:10, Nimesh will be there with the standout brokerage report of the day. And before the market opens in CNBC TV18 Stocks Board, we will highlight the top stocks in the news to focus on for the day. Stay tuned.